Namaskar, Dr. Usha Ram, back with you in our channel for your edification. Friends, as we all know, we are all in a storm of pandemic and need to overcome that. In today's introspection, I'm talking about second wave, which has really created havoc all over the country. Pandemic, an opportunity to introspect or for self-analysis. The pandemic is an opportunity to critically examine our education system and change it for the better. It's important, instead of taking it in a negative form, better to take it in a positive form and look at it to introspect, to self-analysis is required if any changes are required. As we all know, the board examinations have been cancelled or even postponed in case of 12th standard. Can we help ourselves to identify the gaps in the system and teach us how to make it more equitable and resilient? Can we make it more resilient? We all know that we have really become bricks in a tech wall. That is, artificial intelligence and machine learning, they have taken over. But it's important that we should not allow only them, that is AI and ML, but along with that EQ, emotional quotient, SQ, social quotient, and CQ, that is creative quotient, they need to go side by side so that we do not become static. There's another point. We adults have actually taken over our children's creativity. We are only talking about their own, that is adults, we all adults are, we are only talking about our own difficulties, our own challenges that we are going through during this turmoil, second wave which has started. Do we all realize that how our children, more so the adolescent, they are managing to cope? The difference is phenomenal, as the emotional compass of the child is still evolving. It's not static. We should all know that child's life is a student's life, or child's life is not a package deal. It has with it sounds, colors, fragrance, experiences of growing up years. Child is missing all that. Whenever you talk to students, especially the adolescents, even the small children, they all say that they are missing the hugs, the closeness, chatting, talking, hugging, all that they are missing. They all have to be in their houses and they really do not know. Just online classes and that's it. Every year there's a milestone in learning for them. These children, every year is a stepping stone for the next stage for them. Now, because of this continued uncertainty, alienation from normalcy, the normal systems, lack of real-time peer connections, and a strong hold of adults, parents on their lives when they are in the house. The learning world has compounded by turning upside down. Things have changed. The adolescent, the children, even the teachers, and even the parents, nobody knows. We're all going through a real storm which goes on in the minds of everybody. The productive potential of an entire generation has been reduced. That is, intense anxiety, pressure of uncertainty of what? Of examination, of reopening of schools, and then especially for classes 10th and 12th. Of course, it is for the other classes also, but especially for the board classes. They say that they will do it now and then it changes, then it goes to another date. It goes on. Are we all ready in an education system of this kind of shutdowns, cancellations, and postponements? Are we all ready for it? Our competitive attitude as reward and punishment is still there. It goes on. That doesn't change. We still think of what is the reward, what is the punishment, what do we do, because that goes on. There, it hasn't changed. The game of board examination, 25,000 odd schools. Imagine the number of students getting affected. Learning gaps are there. Learning gaps have affected the most vulnerable and marginalized children across the country. Why? Because lack of access of devices, online classes, then connectivity, teacher support. It has proved a disaster for many students of the school and of the university because they really do not have those facilities with them. Then there's another one, security, and then the instructors, then time to amend or modify systems that have become completely outdated, time to reimagine and modernize learning. We have to think out of the box. Now, because of these marginalized children and their vulnerability, it's very important that we need to look into these areas, which is there in just sharing with you. So that's the reason that it's time to think and talk something out of the box, reimagine and modernize. There is no certainty even now that by March 2022 we'll be able to take up things in a normal way. We cannot postpone or keep on cancelling our examinations always, years to come. No, that's not possible. Now, another very important thing is that what is very important? It's the learning outcomes of the entire education system. In that, probably the self-learning, learn for the sake of learning and not for just passing. A new system of assessment is to be redesigned. But I'm not saying that we should do it for this particular 10th and 12th, but it has to start from the middle school or even from the junior school, so that this system goes on, and by the time these children are ready for the board examination, the systems will be in order. Right now, we are not prepared for that. Now, to find means of assessment that are fair, robust, and remove dependency on timetabled exams, that has to be looked into. Competence-based learning approach to be embedded in the education system. Creativity and ability to be resilient will be the most in demand skills. When I am talking about resilient, I have those 7 points in my mind, in which 7 C's of Resilience by Dr. Ginsberg, a child pediatrician, and a human development expert. He has talked about resilience, 7 C's. What are those? Competence, confidence, connection, character, contribution, coping, that is social and stress reducing skills, control over their decisions and actions. We cannot have learning based on 3 hours testing to ascertain their levels of learning. It cannot be that. There has to be a bridge between higher education institutions and the schools. What all has been done at the school level, the learning outcomes, are they really prepared them for the university? Are they ready for that? Or they need another 1 year in between? No, it has to go on from school to the university to the college level. And then we have to ensure a seamless movement into specialized fields. We have to move them seamlessly from school to the university with the specialized areas of learning or the skills that they have incorporated or they have learnt in the school. Now, review and reset the papers for entrance to university, and even at the school level they need to be reviewed and reset. Then virtual curricula may focus only on literacy and numeracy rather than engaging or talking about experiential needs to encourage inquiry-based learning, integration of arts and sports, and the embedding of social and emotional learning in the curriculum. This needs to be looked into. Now, method of examination needs to be revisited along with the content of classroom learning. We must initiate an integrated curriculum that enables students to address their uncertain future with imagination, creativity, and purpose, and encourage them to move towards individual and collective well-being. This is very important. We need to really address and get them prepared for this. Lesson plans need to be woven that emphasize certain key necessities. What are those competencies? Transversal competencies, cultural competencies, interaction, self-expression, a focus on taking care of oneself and managing the requirement of daily life. Competencies to be built both in technology and work, building skills required for the future, that is, rubrics of assessment, moderated teacher assessment throughout the term. This will create a different climate, giving students incentive to keep working, keep learning through any disruptions of their schooling. We need to deconstruct, that is to analyze, the national education policy at the grassroots and at urban level. NCERT and other agencies have been working to textbooks and learning protocols to initiate the process. Such efforts require greater urgency, need to be taken up little more faster. In this globalized world, 21st century skills, learning has to be seen as pathway to attain well-being and happiness and create opportunities to contribute to humanity. The student will get his or her voice only when learning moves from contextual to the conceptual area. So, from contextual to conceptual is important. Now, policymakers should get motivated to build a more equitable and resilient educational system for the future. The future is already here, and we know what is going on and what will happen. So, the second wave, which is like a tsunami, which has really in the entire country, it should be taken as an opportunity. So, pandemic, an opportunity to introspect or for self-analysis. So we should take it in this positive, from the positive angle, so that we are able to make use of this time and come out with valuable suggestions, so that the children, the learning outcomes, what is the main purpose of education? The learning outcomes, the child who's getting ready from school to university should be prepared with all those areas, and not only the artificial intelligence or the machine learning, but social quotient, emotional quotient, and creative quotient. All these areas also need to be looked into. I shared my views with you on this second wave with a positive note. Let's hope things will work out better and we'll have a better system in years to come. Thank you.